live in Joliet, Illinois, and inside the Sullivan Center here on the campus of the University of St. Francis. Get ready for some volleyball today, the penultimate home game for the Fighting Saints as they take on Calumet St. Joseph in the CCAC battle. Thanks for tuning in. Terry Madonna here with you for the next 3 to 5 sets as St. Francis will try to snap a 3-match losing streak that followed a 7-match winning streak. They've had some tough luck lately, losing some very tight games, and today they try to snap out of it and get themselves back on track heading into the end of the regular season and the start of postseason play coming up next week. Quick look at the starters for today's match. For St. Francis, Taylor Valent, Brooklyn Withy, Alexis Engst, Jade Levesey-Gork, Stephanie Woods, and Lauren Stefanski. Katie Zakis is the libero. For Calumet St. Joseph, Gracie Thompson, Cassandra Flores, Sincere Northern, Anna Carr, Bethany Brusser, and Ellery Liebenberg. Tatiana Pritchett is the libero. We're ready to get this thing started. Bethany Brusser is going to be the first server today. Crimson Wave wear gray, and appropriately enough, Crimson, they stand on the left side of your screen here for the first set. And the serves away. We have begun, and we have begun with a strong start for St. Francis as Lauren Stefanski drops it in for her first kill of the night. 1-0 Fighting Saints lead. Lauren Stefanski among the national leaders. And attacking percentage came in at number 5. In the country, it's 1,000% so far tonight. Northern hits it out of bounds. An attacking error on Sincere Northern, who has been far and away Cal St. Joe's best player this year. Leads the team in kills, hitting percentage, digs, and blocks. But that time, she sent it too far wide, and the Saints take a 2-0 advantage. Northern whacks that to the back line where Katie Zakis plays it. And there's Taylor Valent dropping it in for a 3-0 lead. Flunked that ball right in front of Cassandra Flores, who was unable to react going forward to make the dig. 3-0 Saints lead. Liebenberg hits it over, recovering. Saints have a chance, and they finish it strong. Taylor Valent. Valent has been exceptional here at home this season. Came in with a .243 hitting percentage in home matches, and she's got 2 early kills here tonight. 4-0 lead for the Fighting Saints. Played over by Northern. Katie Zakis is there to play it. Tapped over the net by Taylor Valent. Sincere Northern out of bounds again. Northern came in averaging nearly 2.5 kills per set this year. Her .068 attacking percentage, best on the team, but she's 0 for 2 tonight. She's hit a couple of them out of bounds, and now a double hit against Cal St. Joe's. So a few errant swings, and now a double hit, and a timeout is called by the Crimson Wave. They are not off to the start they were hoping for in this one. A big early lead for the Fighting Saints, and St. Francis has got to be feeling good about the way they've started this one, because lately things have not gone their way. They've dropped 3 consecutive matches, all of them in conference. And all they needed to do was probably win one of those 3 to lock up a top 4 spot in the conference standings this year, but they ended up dropping all 3 of them, falling to 10-6 in CCAC play. They stand in sole possession of 5th place in the conference right now, but Indiana Northwest and Cardinal Stritch are both hot on their heels at 9-7 in conference this season. So it's not going to be a lax end of the season for St. Francis. They've got to go hard to it today and on Thursday to close out the season against Cal St. Joe's and Roosevelt to try to get that number 5 overall spot in the conference's final standings. We're ready to go. St. Francis has the serve, and the big shutout lead as Brooklyn Withy sends away another serve. Levesey-Gork over to the back line. A solid dig that time from the libero, Tatiana Pritchett. Into the net, and a point to St. Francis. Another solid swing from Lauren Stefanski. 7-0, Saints lead. Here's Withy with another serve. Into the net. So service error on Brooklyn Withy. It was her 7th consecutive serve. First 6 all netted points for the Fighting Saints, so she can hardly be blamed for one mistake. A nice run there by Withy. Commits her 57th service error of the season. And speaking of serving mistakes, Sincere Northern hits it out of bounds. Too strong on the swing from Northern. And that's her 19th service error this season. That's unfortunate for a Cal St. Joe's team that's looking for life one way or another. They can't afford those unforced errors. And there's another one out of bounds hit by Northern. 9-1 St. Francis. Northern, as I said, has been one of the few bright spots on this Crimson Wave team this year. She's been their best player. She's made a lot of early mistakes today, though. And this time, kept in bounds, nicely handled by Flores as Pritchett gets it over. Jade Livesey-Gork drops it just out of bounds, and a point to Calumet College of St. Joseph. Just out off the swing from Jade Livesey-Gork. Barely cleared that back line, but it did go out of bounds. And that gives a point to Calumet. 9-2 the score. Tatiana Pritchett gets the serve. Good serve from Pritchett, but played by Withy, and a solid kill by Stephanie Woods. Woods has been outstanding in her sophomore season for St. Francis. Coming into tonight's match, she was averaging 1.5 kills per set. Her last 10 games, that's closer to 2. And she's swinging at a 257 clip over her last 10. And there's Stephanie Woods at the net trying to block it down, but a nice recovery there by Bethany Brewser. However, the Crimson Wave hit it out of bounds. So good defense by the Crimson Wave that time. They couldn't capitalize on the offensive end. Another point to St. Francis and a big lead for them. Into the net, and that's 4 hits. Saints by double digits now. 12-2 is our score. Anna Pacheco, the freshman, gets the serve. And that's a point for Gracie Thompson. Thompson bumps it over the net and dropped it just in front of the Saints' back line. Brooklyn Withy tried to make a play on it unsuccessfully. First kill of the day for Calumet St. Joe's. Their first point on a non-St. Francis error. Valens is blocked, but into the net. And a point to St. Francis. Their lead is 10 once again. 13-3 the score. And here's Hannah Monfrey in the serve for the Fighting Saints. Monfrey, one of 2 freshman Hannahs this season. Kara Courier was really recruiting the Hannah district hard last year. To the back line, it's Katie Zakis. Here's Monfrey. Diving play to keep it alive, but Brewster can't keep it in bounds. A point to St. Francis. And the lead is a game-high 11. There's Flores tipped at the net. Whistle blows, and the point goes to Calumet St. Joe's. I think that was a net violation against the Fighting Saints there, and point goes back to the visiting side. The serve goes back to the visiting side as well. There's the serve from Cassandra Flores. Stephanie Woods, played by Pritchett. Pritchett taps it over and down just inside the sideline. Nice hit right there by Tatiana Pritchett. And a point goes to the Crimson Wave. They've scored 2 in a row for the first time tonight. Withy trying to keep that streak at just 2 points, but it's played by Flores and gotten back over by the Crimson Wave. That's inbounds from Stephanie Woods. Just got the line, and Woods gets the kill. Another good-looking swing from Stephanie Woods. Her hot play continues. Substitute comes on for the Fighting Saints for the first time today. We get a look at the sophomore Bevan Carter, defensive specialist from Mother Macaulay High School on the south side of Chicago. She'll get the serve, but not quite yet. We've got a timeout called by Calumet St. Joseph. It's their last timeout of this first set. last-ditch effort for them to get themselves back into it. They trail 15-5 early on. It's been a tough road this year for Calumet St. Joe's. They come in at 2-24, 0-16 in conference, and conference play has not treated them well. In their 16 matches, they've lost all but 2 sets. So they've gone 2-48 in conference sets this year. St. Francis trying to make them 2-49 as they continue to fight here in this one. Great looking start to this one for the Fighting Saints, and this is a match on paper where they figure to be able to get right after losing their last 3. And then Roosevelt on Thursday is going to be a big matchup as they close out their regular season against a Lakers squad that's been as hot as any in the conference and trying to cling to hope to get into the conference tournament opening up next week. A week from today, in fact, are the quarterfinals. So that's a big one on Thursday, but work to be done still today. The Saints are 10 points away from a first set victory, and then obviously 50 points away from a win. At the net, a battle for it, tipped up in the air by Kendra Bullard, and it's won by Cal St. Joe's, but the ball's still alive. Stefanski knocks it in front of Gracie Thompson. Thompson got her arm on it, couldn't get the dig. Another kill for the junior Stefanski, and it's an 11-point lead for St. Francis. Here's Northern, tipped at the net, played on the back line by Carter. Monfrey out of bounds. Too strong on the swing from Hannah Monfrey. Point to the Crimson Wave. Calumet goes back to serve. This one belongs to Hannah Carr. Carr is a senior middle blocker from White Pigeon, Michigan. Not a good looking serve there. Sent it too low. And for Hannah Carr, just the 4th service error of the season. You look at that one, you think maybe serving's just not her forte. Granted, she hasn't done a ton of it, but she hasn't made a lot of mistakes serving either. That was an exception. 17-6 our score. Northern gets it down to Brooklyn Withy, hits it back over the net. It's tipped by the Saints and played on the back line by Monfrey. Here's Withy. Really looking for the kill there, but pushed back over by Ellery Liebenberg, who got her hand under it. She palmed it, and a point to the Saints. They lead by 12. That brings Alexis Engst back to the serving line. Northern over to Monfrey. There's Carter from the back, popping it over the net. Stefanski, big swing and a nice save. Well played by Flores there. Northern gets it over, tipped out of bounds, and a point to Sincere Northern and the Calumet St. Joseph Crimson Wave. 7 serving 18 here as Bethany Brewser goes back to serve. Brewser lofts it to the left side. There's Withy with the return and Brewser on the reception. Northern into the corner and inbounds. Nice hit by Northern. Point to Calumet. That's a couple in a row for them. They'll try to make it 3 straight. This serve from the senior Brewser. Another high archer from Brewser over to the left side. Another hard hit by Stefanski. That's returned by Brewser. Withy gets it down in between the lunging Brewser and Pritchett. A solid swing right there, and the point to St. Francis gets them within 6 of a first set victory as Gabby Palmo comes in for the first time tonight. She has the serve in her possession. To the back line, out of bounds. That was not tipped at the net. Just hit a little bit too hard by Gracie Thompson. And on the attacking error, the Saints lead balloons back to 12. Another serve from the sophomore Palmo. Thanks for Valent. A little dink by Taylor. Valent gets it over the blockers and down. Nice hit by Taylor Valent. The junior gets the kill. 21-8, St. Francis. Calumet St. Joseph scored back-to-back points, trying to get themselves back into shooting range, but the Saints have put them away with 3 straight here. And now trying to run the table with a few more. Carter for Engst, a good set for Valent, and no answer to that one. Taylor Valent spikes it down, and it's 4 in a row for St. Francis. Just a perfect setup. Valent came flying in. Absolutely nothing that Calumet St. Joe's could have done about it. Another serve coming up for Palermo. Northern. Kept in bounds by Bevan Carter. Now Valent, another one. That's 3 straight kills for Taylor Valent. 5 straight points for the University of St. Francis. And they're just 2 points away from wrapping up a first set blowout victory. Palermo's been on quite the run since she came in. Cassandra Flores over to Palermo. Carter keeps it in, but Livesey Gork can't get it over. A mishap on the receiving side for St. Francis, and the point goes to Cal St. Joe's. So they do not allow the Fighting Saints to end the game on a long run. Instead, the Crimson Wave will try to go on a run of their own right here. Thanks for Livesey Gork, and she taps it in. The lone senior on the St. Francis roster, Jade Livesey Gork from Oregon. Picks up a nice hit right there. Entered play today, 4th on the team with 219 kills for the season. Set points, but out of bounds on the serve from McKenna Bartecki. First time we've seen Bartecki. Came in just for the clinching serve and couldn't quite clinch it. Saints will try to win it on this point. Tatiana Pritchett to serve for the Crimson Wave. Livesey Gork for the win. Diving to keep it alive. Brewster can't keep it in bounds. It's out. That's a point to the Saints, and that's the set point. 25-10 is our final score. A dominant first set victory for the Fighting Saints of St. Francis. They'll try to pull it off 2 more times with set number 2 set to open in about 3 minutes. I'll step aside for a moment. Back in a flash with set number 2. Saints take the early 1-0 lead. Set number 2 coming your way in just a moment. St. Francis leads Calumet St. Joseph by a 1-0 count. They took the opener 25-10 and are now 2 sets away from their 20th victory of the year. Saints came into play today at 19-13 overall, 10-6 in the conference. Calumet St. Joe's 2-24 and 0-16. St. Francis has lost 3 in a row. Cal St. Joe's has lost 9 in a row. So both of these teams are trying to snap a losing streak today, and the Saints streak, which is a little bit shorter, is in better position to be snapped as they've taken a big early lead. 25-10 was the final. It's the second largest margin of victory. It ties, I should say, the second largest margin of victory for any St. Francis set this year. Oddly enough, their biggest win came just 3 days ago in a loss. They won a set 25-8 against Olivet Nazarene, but ultimately dropped that match in 5 sets. It was the 4th one that they took 25-8. Wouldn't mind outdoing that here in the 2nd or 3rd set of this one. Last time they faced Calumet St. Joseph, they did not lose a set. However, none of their wins were nearly that decisive. The Crimson Wave managed at least 18 points in all 3 sets in that first meeting between these two teams this year, and that one was back on September the 14th. Hannah Monfrey checks in as the libero. Katie Zakis wearing plain old yellow now. She's back into her position as defensive specialist, and it's the freshman Monfrey taking over that role as libero as we commence game 2. That's inbounds. A nice dig by Tatiana Pritchett, and the Saints were not prepared for it on the other end. So for the first time tonight, Cal St. Joe's has the lead. 1-0 is our score. They trailed 7-0 at one point in the first set and never came close to holding the lead after that. They've got an early one here. Thompson sets for Northern. Northern with 2 hands hoists it over to the left side. Here's Withy on the return, and Withy gets the kill. So the lead was short-lived for Cal St. Joe's. We're tied at 1. And Brooklyn Withy gets to have a serve here. First kill of the night for Brooklyn Withy, or second kill rather, for Brooklyn Withy. She had 1 in the first set. Withy lets that one go out of bounds. An attacking error by the Crimson Wave. It's 2-1 St. Francis. Withy entered play today 2nd on the team in kills, just 3 behind Taylor Vallant's team lead. Lauren Stefanski is in the running for the team lead as well. She came in 10 behind Taylor Vallant. Stefanski tops and blocks. She blocked that one, but won't get credit for it because it was returned. Stefanski will, however, get credit for the kill. Her 4th of the night. 3-1 Saints. Point to St. Francis on the double hit by Calumet St. Joe's. Obviously, things have not really gone the Crimson Wave's way tonight, having been outscored 29-11. Things haven't really gone their way this season. They've lost 24 of 26, and an ace for Withy makes it 5-1 St. Francis. Those are the ones that are frustrating, though, those last 2 hits. Well, more the previous one than the last point. It's a good serve by Withy. Just don't like to see those double hits, net violations, the little things, plays like that. As Ellery Liebenberg just stuck both hands underneath the ball and pulled it up. It's as clear a violation as you'll ever see. And an easy point for St. Francis, who has now scored 6 in a row. Northern hits it into the net. That makes it 7 in a row for the Fighting Saints. 7-1 our count. And despite spotting Cal St. Joe's 1 this time, we've gotten to the exact same point we were last game as well, at 7-1 through 8 points. Saints look for their 8th in a row right here. Angst for Vallant, and another kill for Taylor Vallant. 8 in a row for St. Francis. And we got a timeout called by Calumet St. Joseph. 8 straight points for the Fighting Saints after they trailed 1-0, and the Saints are not playing around tonight. Again, this is a Cal St. Joe's team that has won only 2 sets out of the 51 they've played in conference this year. So it's a match that St. Francis expected to win coming in, but you can't take anybody lightly. And the Saints already are familiar with the type of challenge that Cal St. Joe's can provide. Again, back in September, early on in conference season, they gave the Fighting Saints a good run for their money. Crimson Wave lost all 3 of those sets, but they managed a total of 56 points in those 3 games. Tonight, we're not quite a game and a half in, but they've only got 11 points. So it shows, number one, the level of improvement on St. Francis's side this year. From early September until now, they are vastly improved, and they were not half bad to open the season. They had a very difficult schedule. They did start 3-7, but they turned the corner after that. After their 3-7 start, they've gone 16-6, angling for 17-6 with a win today. So they've certainly shown their improvement since the last time these teams met. They're also showing that they are here to fight today, not ready to take this team lightly despite their last place standing in the conference. Jade Livesey-Groark with a cross-court hit, played by a diving Gracie Thompson, and a kill for Sincere Northern as Alexis Inkst is unable to play it. Good timeout called by Cal St. Joe's coach Tim Walenga as it leads to a point for the Crimson Wave, snapping a long St. Francis run. It had been 8 in a row for the Saints. Now it's 2 serving 8, and the serve belongs to Bethany Brewser. Inkst for Livesey-Groark. Hit up into the air by Northern. A nice save. There's Valance. Good swing by Taylor Vallant. Another kill for her. And another point for St. Francis, whose lead is back to 7. Tied for a game high. Their biggest lead in the match so far was the ending score in the first set, 25-10. Set up for nobody. Northern and Brewser had a little miscommunication there. Brewser was going back to play it behind Northern. Northern called for it and set, and there was nobody there. There's Northern to the back, played by Inkst. Bartecki up in the air. They say Groark over. Tipped and a diving play by Stefanski, but nobody there to help her out after the dive, and so a point to the visiting team. 3 serving 10 here, and it's Northern who does the duty. And an ace for Northern. Bartecki tried to lean forward to make that play, a little bit too far in front of her. And Sincere Northern picks up her 23rd ace of the season. Second most on the team behind Cassandra Flores. Flores and Northern have been the 2 stars for the Crimson Wave this year. They are a freshman and a sophomore respectively. Taylor Vallant has been the star tonight for St. Francis. Another strong kill for Vallant, and another point for St. Francis. Their lead against 7. Crimson Wave in the midst of a long rebuild, trying to use the play of Northern and Flores to spark something towards the end of the season and maybe heading into next year, as their 2 best players have been 2 of their youngest. As that attack from Flores goes out of bounds. An attacking error and a point for the Saints. Anna Pacheco set to serve. And an ace for Pacheco. Tatiana Pritchett caught in between there, wasn't sure whether to play it or let it go and hope that it dropped out of bounds. At the last second she decided to play it, but it was a last second decision and an awkward hit as a result. That's into the net and into the antenna, and a point to the Fighting Saints. Flores over the blockers and in. Nice hit by Cassandra Flores. 5 serving 14 now for Tatiana Pritchett. There's a block at the net off the swing from Kendra Bullard. And a kill from Taylor Valance. 15-5 Saints lead. Kendra Bullard and Peyton Baird up at the front of the net, number 7 and 9 respectively. Haven't seen much of Bullard yet tonight. Baird was out there briefly in the first set. Here's Peyton Baird looking for the kill, but a nice save by Flores. And Northern's able to push it just over. Brooklyn Withy, a big windup, a swing, and a kill for Withy. Big lead here for the Fighting Saints, and it is well recognized by Tim Walenga. He calls timeout. 16-5. Saints have outscored the Crimson Wave 41-15 so far tonight, and they are well on their way to taking a 2-0 lead in tonight's match. It has not been an easy road at home for the Saints this year. They are 5-2 in home matches. They've been good. Just hasn't been easy for them to be good. They've almost all gone 5 sets. 6 out of the 7 home matches coming into tonight have gone 5, including the last 2 of them. And today they're trying to pick up their second 3-set home victory. They have not played a 4-set home match this year. They've all been either 3 or 5. And they've pretty much all been 5. As I said, 6 out of 7. But they're looking to make quick work of Cal St. Joe's tonight. Already up by 11 points in the second set after a blowout victory in the first. It'll be Gabby Palmo's serve coming out of the timeout. Onfrey, Pacheco, Withy, Bullard, and Baird up at the net for St. Francis. The only one on the bench right now for Cal St. Joe's is Ellery Liebenberg. They only have 7 active players. They really don't have any reserves, the 6 starters plus the libero Pritchett. There's the serve from Palmo as we're back underway. That's inbounds. A point to Calumet St. Joseph on a good hit by Cassandra Flores. Coming out of the timeout, once again, they're able to snap a St. Francis run. They've done that twice in the second set. Here's Withy. Diving play by Pritchett and over the net. Nice work by Pritchett. Nice work by Pacheco. Setting it over and down. It's a good hit there by Hannah Pacheco. 17-6. St. Francis has the lead. Hannah Monfrey has the serve. Flores gets it in. Monfrey let it go. I think she was just hoping it would land out of bounds. It really wasn't close. That ball landed entirely inside the line. And Cal St. Joe's trying to make a late run here. He's sharpened up late in this second set. Still a long way to go. Lauren Stefanski makes it even longer. A kill for Stefanski, her 6th of the night. 18-7, St. Francis leads. Here's a serve from Alexis Engst. Palmo bumps it up to Withy to the back line. Gracie Thompson makes the play. Northern blocked out of bounds. A point to Sincere Northern. 10-point game once again. Serve belongs to Hannah Carr. And not a good looking serve from Carr. That's the second time that Hannah Carr has served tonight. And neither of them have reached the net. So she is really struggling on the serve right now. and she checks out as the lead for the Saints is up to 11. Bevan Carter sends it away. Northern tips the net over to Angst. Here's Valent to the back line and out of bounds. No tip. Hit by Valent straight out. And a point to Cal St. Joe's. Two sides have pretty much been trading points ever since St. Francis moved ahead by 10 at 14-4. In fact, it was 13-3. Now it's 20-9 as Jade Lidisay Burke gets a kill. Ever since 13-3, they've pretty much just gone back and forth, point for each side, and now we'll see if Cal St. Joe's takes their turn or if Lauren Stefanski can help the Saints go on a run with this serve. Well, Saints have two in a row. A miss hit there by Cal St. Joe's. The double hit is the call. 12-point lead for the Fighting Saints. And an opportunity to put this game away. They're 1 point closer. An ace for Stefanski. 22-9. Stefanski's serve is played this time. Hit over by Thompson. Stefanski hits it up high. Does not hit the ceiling nor the basketball net, so the Saints are able to keep it going. Northern is blocked. Jade Lidisay Burke gets the block. Saints are 2 points away from a 2-0 lead. Another ace for Stefanski. That's two. And now it's set point, 24-9. The Fighting Saints are trying to one-up their score from the previous set. For the game, Stefanski's serve. Into the net from Thompson, and that is a point and a set for the Fighting Saints. 25-10 in the first, 25-9 here in the second. St. Francis is on a roll, and now they're 25 points away from their 20th victory of the season. They'll flip sides, they'll talk things over, and they'll be back out on the court in about 3 minutes. So a quick break here, and back with the third set in just a moment. 2-0, St. Francis holds the lead. We are potentially 25 points away from ending tonight's match. St. Francis has a 2-0 lead on Calumet College of St. Joseph. Crimson Wave will get the first serve here in the third set, standing off to the left once again. Saints are on the right side. St. Francis has taken the first two sets by a combined count of 50-19. 25-10, 25-9, and let's see if they're able to get another similar result here in the third set to improve their record to 20-13, pick up their 11th conference win, and snap a 3-match losing streak that goes back to last Tuesday. They had an interesting set of 3 consecutive games against teams that they were tied with in the standings: Indiana South Bend, Trinity International, and Olivet Nazarene. They lost all 3 of them, all of them in 5 sets. Good news coming out of those 3 is that the Saints made it very clear they can play with any one of those 3 teams. They could beat any one of those 3 teams. Bad news, obviously, they didn't beat any of the 3. But they'll probably be seeing at least one, if not more of them again. Lauren Stefanski looks for the first kill of the third set, but it's played by Cal St. Joe's and hit out of bounds by Sincere Northern. It's an attacking error on the sophomore hitter. And the Saints take a 1-0 lead. The only lead that Cal St. Joe's has held tonight was 1-0 in the second set. And the Saints immediately responded with 8 points in a row. So the Saints are in a comfortable position right now in the lead. They've been there all night. Valent and Stefanski tried to tap it over, barely got it over, but they did. Valent, good hit. Oh boy, Taylor Valent's had a nice night. 10 kills. And she gives the Saints a 2-0 lead. Another serve from the junior McKenna Bartecki. Tracy Thompson hits it over to Hannah Monfrey. There's Valent again, and they just haven't been able to stop her. Entering play today, Valent had already set a career high with 286 kills. She's gunning for 300 before she's done tonight. She's up to 297 with that last one for the season. Tipped over by Brewser. Here's the reply from the Saints. Jay Livesey-Glork tried to cross it. Hannah Carr got her hand on it, never quite made it across, but neither was it kept in the air by the Crimson Wave. 4 straight points to open this one for the Saints, who have gotten off to great starts tonight. They led 7-0 in the first set, 8-1 in the second, and 4-0 so far here in the third. There's Northern getting it over and down. So the early run stops at 4 points for St. Francis. 4-1 is our score as Sincere Northern picks up her 7th kill of the night. Livesey-Glork into the net. 2 in a row for Cal St. Joe. They trail by 2 as they've cut the lead in half with their back-to-back points. Lauren Stefanski drops it in. It was tipped at the net, made its way back to Hannah Carr and hit off of Carr's chest. She could not keep the volley alive. So Stefanski gets the serve now with a 3-point lead. That drifts away from Tatiana Pritchett, and Stephanie Woods cleans it up at the net. We did not see Stephanie Woods in the second set. She's been relatively quiet tonight, but Woods has been on a great run, and she's been sharp today when she's been in there. There's a block by Livesey-Glork, but played by Cal St. Joe's. Diving play made by Taylor Valent, but a net violation is called up front against St. Francis. So the point goes to Cal St. Joe's. They cut the lead in half again. I guess they didn't cut it in half because it wasn't 6 before, but it is half of St. Francis's total right now, 3 serving 6. Kara Courier wants a further explanation on that net violation. Kara Courier in her 18th season at the helm of St. Francis. Came into tonight with 450 career victories. But she's been sitting on that number longer than she'd like. trying to snap a 3-match losing streak today. They're in good shape for it. Stephanie Woods puts them in better shape. A 7-3 lead for the Fighting Saints. Hannah Pacheco comes in to serve. There's Kendra Bullard. And a diving play to keep it alive by Cassandra Flores. Stephanie Woods out of bounds. Good looking swing from Woods, but she pulled it a little bit too far, pushed it a little bit too far to her left. An attacking error against Stephanie Woods, who came into today second on the team with a .226 attacking percentage. Here's a try it again, and into the antenna. So that's back-to-back attacking errors on Woods, a rarity for her. Cal St. Joe is back to within 2. They were blown out in the first 2 sets. They're trying to make a good go of it here in the third. Valent tips it over lightly, and Liebenberg can't keep it in bounds. Liebenberg, the tallest player in the conference at 6'6", a senior from Rustenburg, South Africa. She plays strong at the net, but she's had a few problems we've seen tonight trying to go back to play balls in the air. Flores tips the net, played on the back line by Pacheco, whacked over by Bullard. Here come the Crimson Wave back the other way. Now the Saints, Bullard, back over to Pritchett. Northern from the back line, cross to the opposite back, and Monfrey. Best volley of the night, I think, right here. Tapped over and down by Flores. After a great rally, it's a point to Calumet College of St. Joseph. Great work by the Crimson Wave that time to keep the fight alive and finally get it in. They trail by only 2. Stephanie Woods, a good kill. Woods had to have been a little bit frustrated after back-to-back attacking errors, but back to her usual, a strong hit right down in front of the back line, 9-6, and an attacking error on Hannah Monfrey. Crimson Wave staying close so far in this one. Not close enough as Lauren Stefanski distances St. Francis a little bit further. Another kill for Stefanski. It's 10-7. And Alexis Engst gets the serve for the Fighting Saints, playing in their penultimate home match this season, and their penultimate match of the regular season. Out of bounds on the attack from Flores. Saints will be active next week in the conference tournament. They've already locked up their spot in the quarterfinals for a week from today, but they'll likely be playing on the road. That ball deflects off the net and finds a soft space in the Saints defense. And a point to the Crimson Wave. 3-point game. This is as big a lead as the Saints have held since it was 4-0. They've not been able to go any further than that. Calumet just not going away early on here. Jade Livesey-Gore gets it over. Free ball and forced right back to the other side. There's a strong hit by Peyton Baird. Baird gets the point for the Saints, and again the lead is 4. 4 matches their largest of the set. They've led by as many as 16 today when they won that last set 25-9. Engst for Stefanski to the back line and just in. Just in bounds from Lauren Stefanski, the transfer from Loyola University. who's been a huge contributor at the net this year for the Fighting Saints. A 5-point lead. The Saints maybe starting to pull away as they're halfway to a third set victory. Timeout called. St. Francis leads 2-0 after a couple of dominant wins, 25-10 and 25-9. Cal St. Joe's has kept this third set much closer than either of the first two. But right now the Fighting Saints are threatening to put it away once and for all as they have scored the last 2 points in a row. Take a 5-point advantage and now need just 12 more to come away with the win. It doesn't look like the trend will hold as Saints had won the last 2 sets by increasingly better scores, 25-10 and 25-9. They'll have to end this game on a 14-0 run to keep that path going the way it had in the first 2, but they just want to win any way they could get it. The final score not of particular concern, as long as they're the ones with 25. Bevan Carter has the serve coming out of the break. Northern blocked and down. Anna Carr tried to keep it alive, but she sent it into the net. And so it's a 6-point lead for the Saints. 3 straight points. Anna Carr to the back line. Angst hits it up in the air. Kept alive by Carter, and Monfrey hits it over. Nice teamwork by the Saints that time. There's a block by St. Francis, but pushed back over by Northern. Here's Valance. Tipped out of bounds. A point for Taylor Valance. This one had been close through the first 19 points. Nip and tuck, but now St. Francis has pulled away. They're on their second 4-0 run of this set, and their lead is up to 7. Anna Carr is blocked, but she gets it back. Nice work by Carr. Lauren Stefanski does some good work of her own. Thought she had a block earlier in the rally. She ends up getting a kill instead. That'll do. 5 in a row for the Saints. Northern out of bounds on the attack. 6 straight points for St. Francis. Well, that 14-0 run to end the set, still very unlikely, but getting less and less so by the second, except for this second. Bevan Carter just a little bit short on that serve. That had been an inch higher, it would have rolled over and probably dropped in for an ace. Instead, it just barely stayed on her side for a service error and a point to Calumet St. Joe's. Livesey Gork blocked, but out of bounds. Give that point to Livesey Gork. It's 18-9. There's Stefanski with the Saints once again doubling up the Crimson Wave. Carter for Angst, and Angst knocks it over. There's Northern over to Stefanski. Now Stephanie Woods drops it in. It's an 8-1 run for the Fighting Saints. They lead it by double digits. First time that's been the case here in the third set. They've had double-digit leads plenty of times throughout the match, though. And this lead is going to drop back to 9 as the Saints are called for a net violation. 19-10 our score. And Bethany Brewser gets the serve for the Crimson Wave. Valance blocked high into the air, back to St. Francis' side. Stephanie Woods hits it over with 2 hands, and coming down, she gets the point as the net violation is called by Cal St. Joe's. So Woods does not get credit for the kill there. She was the last one to touch it. She forced Crimson Wave into the net, but it's a violation that officially gives the Saints the point. They're 5 points away from a match victory. Kendra Bullard hits it over. Northern blocked at the net. Bullard back over. Net violation called again against the Crimson Wave. 2 of those in a row. And this time the official will go over and talk with Tim Wallenga to give him a further explanation. St. Francis is 4 points away from wrapping it up. They're on a 10-2 run. Northern forces it across. There's Bullard. That's a kill for Bullard. 22-10. St. Francis on Kendra Bullard's kill. Bullard, a sophomore outside hitter. And Pacheco gets another serve into the net. 11th point for Cal St. Joe's. That's their highest total in tonight's match, but they've still got a long way to go. After they trailed only 11-8, they had been very close to start this match out and just have not been able to keep it up. Woods out of bounds. There's 2 in a row for Cal St. Joe's. So they started, I was going to say they started relatively strong. They started down 4-0, but from that point on, they outscored the Saints 8-7. And now even if it is too little too late, they want to finish out strong. Taylor Valent tries to drop it in, but a nice diving dig made by Bethany Brewster. Stephanie Woods is blocked by Liebenberg, but out of bounds. The Saints are now just 2 away. Even including that 2-0 spurt from Cal St. Joe's. It's a 12-4 run for St. Francis. They'll try to finish it off with the sophomore Gabby Palmo on the serve. Played by Pritchett. Flores hits it over. Saints in response. Lined up and a kill for Kendra Bullard. Match point for St. Francis. They can send everybody home early with one good serve here from Gabrielle Palmo. Flores blocked out of bounds. The Crimson Wave are still alive. 24-13 is our score. And the Crimson Wave will need 11 more points consecutively just to keep this one alive. A tall order for Tatiana Pritchett. And she was not up to the task. It's out of bounds on the serve. And that's how the Saints wrap it up. A 25-13 third set victory. And the Saints take a sweep from Calumet College of St. Joseph, outscoring the Crimson Wave overall today 75-32. Great work by the Saints today as they snap a 3-match losing streak. They had dropped the last 3, all in 5 sets. Today they need just 3 sets to come away with a victory over Calumet, dropping them to 0-17 in conference this year. A 3-set victory tonight for St. Francis is their 13th this year. 13 of their 20 victories have come in straight sets. Nice work today by the Fighting Saints, who will wrap up their season on Thursday. With the victory, they improved to 20-13 for the year. They're now 11-6 in conference. They sit in sole possession of 5th place in the conference, and a big win for them tonight as well, as they have held off, at least for now, Indiana Northwest and Cardinal Stritch, who are closing in. Those 2 teams were just a game behind the Saints in the conference standings at the start of play today, and both teams are in action right now. The Saints now 11-6 in conference. Calumet falls to 0-17 in conference, 2-25 overall as they drop their 10th consecutive match this season. Nice result for the Saints tonight. We'll see if they can do it again on Thursday when they take on a very tough and hungry Roosevelt Lakers squad. That's a 7 o'clock start time this coming Thursday, and we will have the broadcast for you through the USF Sports Network, so make sure you are tuned in. As always, you can find that broadcast through GoFightingSaints.com. Once again, our final scores tonight, all in favor of St. Francis, 25-10, 25-9, 25-13. Their 13th 3-set victory this year in their first sweep since they turned the trick against Robert Morris right here on October 22nd. So good to see the Saints trying to finish out the regular season strong. See if they can do it again on Thursday night. Until then, this is Terry Bonadonna signing off for the University of St. Francis. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday evening.